Well, we've heard from Keir Starmer. Let's hear now from someone who attended the protest here in Westminster. Fergus Howie. He has a family farm in Essex. I joined him in a very slushy Parliament Square as the protest came to a close. So talk to me about your farm. I think it's a Wicks Manor farm. What is it that you produce?
So we're based in Essex, we're arable farmers. We own about 400 acres, which is my grandfather and my father bought over... Well, grandfather came down in 1928, bought some land. My father added to that. So we're farming the land that my grandfather farmed, my father farmed. That is an inherited investment of about £24,000. So that has now been passed through from grandfather to my father and now to my brother and myself. We farm arable land and we also have a pig business and we also progressive farmers. We employ about 50 people and we have a meat processing where we make bacon, ham, sausages, which we supply out to regional supermarkets, national food service, and we also export. So we're progressive and we like to, but this is the thing about farming. It's all about taking something which you inherit, making it hopefully bigger and better and passing it to the next generation.
And you want to pass it down through the family. That's the aim, is it?
I like to say that our business has a lifespan of this, and my lifespan is that at the front of it.
Just talking to you about the budget, so the idea is that farms worth more than £1 million will have 20% inheritance tax on. Will your farm be impacted by that then?
We will. We own 400 acres, which is a reasonably small farm in Essex. That is worth about £10,000 an acre, about say 4 million. You get a £1 million which allowance, so we would be paying 20% on 3 million, £600,000.
So £600,000, that's what the budget is cost you?
That's what it would cost us, yes. But it's more than that because my father still owns the land, because up until the 30th of October, the advice, tax advice, was for the farmers to keep the land, and then pass it down on death. So when he then passes to my brother and I, he has 7 years to live. Now this is a tragedy for farmers in the UK because loads of guys which are 70, 80 year old have put all their life's effort into growing an asset, very limited cash coming into the business, as in what you can spend. Everything is ploughed back in. You draw a very small amount out to live off. Everything is reinvested to grow food for us as a nation and to grow an asset for the next generation.
What the government is saying, though, is that this is only going to impact a very small number of farms. You can hear Big Ben, that's probably, you know, if that comes across, you know, it shows we're right outside Parliament. Exactly. You know, so what they're saying is it's going to be around 500 farms in total impacted. That goes on HMRC figures of 462 farms being valued at over £1 million in 2022. So what would you say? Sadly,
the Treasury has misinformed the government, and the government have made decisions on inaccurate information. DEFRA, which is the farming body's governing body, say that it's 66%. Now I would say that it's higher than that. Every single farm now, since this budget, now has a sword of Damocles holding over it.
But they must have the numbers. HMRC must have the numbers. You know, they've looked at the 462 inherited farms. It's a specific number, right? So that must be right.
But it's incorrect. This is going to affect every single farm. £1 million is, and it sounds a lot of money for the general public, but that is one house and 20 acres. You can't farm that.
Can I ask if you accept that some people, and I'm not talking about the kind of farmers that you are, obviously, that, you know, give your everything to your farm and those families that do so as well, that some people are effectively using this as a bit of a tax dodge? You know, there is research, isn't there, that actually about 60% of farms bought recently were investors.
My grandfather bought land in 1920s at £30 an acre. My father bought land in 1960s at £60 an acre. Land is now worth £10,000 an acre. So from a farming point of view, you can't afford, straight farming cannot afford to buy it.
But some people, it feels, are using it as a tax dodge, right?
They are using it as a tax dodge, and the government, sadly, has set the thresholds far too low. In the same way they did with the winter fuel allowance, they have hit everybody when they didn't mean to hit everybody. They went into this, I'm sure, with good intentions, and from a farming point of view, if there was those people with £1 million of bonuses from London who go out and buy one house and 20 acres, hang on a minute, they're still immune from this, they're still within this threshold. But the farmer who's got 200 acres, struggling to farm, earning 0.5% under the minimum wage, working day and night, could only buy a new pair of overalls and a flat cap for himself, but he passes it to the next generation. He's done his job. He kept that farm and he passed it to the next generation. He's now clobbered.